joli collant. Et puis l'eau, les filles. Aïe, j'ai bu. Aïe, mince. Aïe, j'ai bu ton joli collant. Fiotello, les filles. Aïe, j'ai bu. Aïe, j'ai bu ton joli collant. Et filotello, le filantalon. Aïe, j'ai bu. Azerty. Ok, gars. Du coup, un game. Go. Les gars. Ça va, les gars. Oh, nada. Aïe, j'ai bu ton joli collant. Je vois pas du tout. Pourquoi tu prends la voiture? Du ping. Non, la music box. Aïe, j'ai bu. Les sons, je vois pas vos messages. les bons de la personne là. Ni souvent de ça. Arrachade. Les gars, je vais faire un mais ça va être dur. Parce que si je dois. Mais je fais. Les gars, je reviens. Je reviens les gens. Adidas. Ils disent les gars, je pourrais pas voir vos messages aujourd'hui. Désolé. En fait, tu vois, j'ai un problème sur mon ordi. Oui, à l'aide. Gravier. Ouais, j'ai one HP. Voilà. Oh, je vais... Malgré ça. Coco, chat, les gars, le nouveau là, le vainqueur, le joueur là, vas-y, qu'est-ce qu'il nous a dit? Il faut sauter dessus, il a besoin d'un... Vas-y, là, on va dans le box. Vas-y, doit se mettre dans la gueule et essayer de se prendre un refresh pour avoir du son. Cache professionnel. Basile. L'autre il va vous. Basile est mort. Basile va mourir peut-être. Basile le garde. Basile avec l'édition. Basile. Basile prends. Basile prends le kit. Le kit. Il est trop bête. Voilà, il est trop bête. Basile devait prendre le kit pour survivre. Non, il est trop bête, Basile. Basile, ça s'appelle la flash. Basile a besoin de kit et de... Basile a trouvé deux sprays. Deux sprays de points. Ah. Basile devra partir loin. Loin quand il y aura la vie. Remets. Trop bête, voilà. Oh, c'est copyright. Oh, c'est le temps. salle de compte. Bismillah. Putain, j'ai mal. Ah. Il faut un peu de là. Ma poule. C'est bon. Je m'en fous. À part si je fais ça, je fais ça, je fais ça. Je fais ça, je fais ça, je fais ça. Oh, c'est bon. Mais j'ai... Oh. Ok. M8 comme ça. On a ça. M8 Yorda a du temps. Pourquoi je veux pas? Ok. On va beaucoup d'HP. Je vais prendre un refresh. Non, il est trop bête. Ouais, il va mourir. Et voilà. J'avais pas parié sur lui pourtant. Oh, c'est lui gagne. Je connais Halluzi. Ça va peut-être gagner les gars. Il faut que Falcon il trouve quelqu'un. Je veux dire Halluzi trouve quelqu'un. Oh, bah, voilà. Et YouTube Starix gagne cette manche. J'ai rien fait de top. Ouais. Crac. Fail. Voilà, voilà, voilà. Je- le sens. Voilà, voilà, voilà qui je suis, mon ami. Voilà, 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 voilà qui je suis. Les gars, go, étape de groupe. Les gars, c'est maintenant que j'ai fait le CFS, ok? Du coup, hop. Je vous mets le live de quelques joueurs pour voir où ils en sont, ok? Attends, je cherchais Pixie. Pixie. Ben non, je suis bête. Ils ont fini. Il y a qui? Il y a Queasy.
Allow the other trios to come on through and take some of the attention away from them so that they can heal up. But this is just.
Why would you read that? Why not? What's wrong with reading that?
Queasy, il est pas.
Who's top 5 trios in EU? I don't know.
Il y a qui?
Played with Nick? Nah.
Il y a qui fait les FNCS, les gars, aujourd'hui? Mais FNCS. Ah, il y a Squeezie, merci. Je mets Epic Games. Je mets Fortnite live.
Sai and Nak and Nikaz, these guys are just able to try and find a little bit of surge damage, but what they did wrong was just the fact that they were just running in as solos. Sai right there just doing it all on his own. Just now, NQZ goes down, and it's going to be Nak that's going to follow as well. It's just not ideal for them whatsoever. But the way that they went about that definitely could have been better. But it's so difficult to put into practice, Taka, when you are below. You want to try and make that heroic move, the heroic play, jump in the box, hit a 200.
They have just stuck around for so long, and it doesn't really look like either side has fully benefited from it either. I think that they're kind of just holding each other at a standstill.
As well, they can afford to do that, and both teams know that. It's almost a skill gap in itself, as knowing when to go in for those fights, when to stick around, when then to disengage, and just evaluating, sort of weighing up, what are we going to gain from staying here if we are to be successful, and what are we to lose if it doesn't go our way? And I think that's what they realized right there. They thought, right, if we're going to stick around here for too much longer, we're going to miss out on a lot of damage throughout the rest of this game for what? Maybe some splashes, maybe some extra bits of loot. As you can see, they had a lot of gray weapons in their inventory, lots of gray all over, which is not what they want, but it's probably not worth risking a fight in that situation for them. So probably the right decision from my point of view.
Faded F9 and Moneymaker, though, they're just at the edge of the river, currently outside of Seaport. Search base directly above them, though. Gonna pay them a little bit of a welcomer that they weren't necessarily after. Tooth and Carmi, though, they've got to be really careful here. Already in a duo circumstance, fighting for their lives against Ricky and Zardo, but Carmi, he's just got to play backup right now for Tooth. Not only that, but Nefario, Ricky, with the numbers advantage, they're going to just try and take out the first person that they can come across, and Tooth is going to be on the other end of it, right next to his teammate Carmi. Ricky, Zarda, and Nefario, they needed these refreshes, though. A little bit of surge damage can go a long way when you are this far out in the storm.
Yeah, huge. Few eliminations right there. Really nicely done. Just the speed at which they can get into those boxes with the gold splash, the gold rush, really played into their favor right there. Just allowed them to finish that fight so much quicker than they would have without it. So that's really nice from them. But for Lynx and his trio right now, they've got a bit of a problem to deal with Sai and company. It's a problematic position, because they are on that low ground. They do have an elimination, so they shouldn't be too desperate for the damage. They could just sort of chill here. They don't necessarily need too much, unless an opportunity does present itself, and you can always allow that trio to come to you rather than the other way around. I think they are just going to make the decision to rotate on out, so it's good players from them. But oh, they see an opening. Really nice triple spray right there. Sai going down. Huge tags and huge knock. It was Stan, actually, from afar that managed to pick up that knock, but Lynx is going to be able to pick up all of the goodies that come from it. So really nicely done from those guys. The patience was so important for them there. And that's going to ultimately give them another little bit of a boost that they didn't necessarily need, but they'll gladly take.
Definitely still need to be cautious, though. A team had pulled up to that southern side of Hopeful Heights, so even after finding that elimination, you're never really out of the danger zone with so many other teams lurking nearby. Sined has been fixated in the surge base for a hot minute now. And also Reskar, a very seasoned trio. That's for sure. As far as individual stature is concerned. And Anas, Sined, Reskar, most importantly, have a very firm grasp of knowing if you don't have your surge damage, you can't really do much else. Even if you get the most optimal rotations of all time, you're never going to be able to stay alive once the moving zones come into play, especially. Scum, though, I like this. Just getting right into the heat of it, with Nox taking advantage of a bit of a separated player. But it's always a little bit tragic when you're seeing these teams and individuals more so, because you have to just think about how they're going back to the drawing board in between each of these lobbies and trying to, formulate a plan that's actually going to work for them in the next one.
Yeah, definitely. No, 100%. It's, time is ticking, though, so you want to make sure that your plan is evolving. You've got a couple of games now left after this, so I think the focus has to shift from maybe picking up replacements to picking up wins, but Gordet there and his trio getting a huge beam there onto ZND. Ju is now weak. It's all up to him to try and stay alive to keep the trio in it, and ZND's trying to get away as well. The full trio just hounding ZND right now, trying to connect with a few extra shots. They do in the end and take him out. really nicely done from this trio, as now they're a little bit of a problem in the back. It's Fincheck that does return fire. It's now back to a 2v2. Joanne now also has a bit of a problem to deal with too, as he's now also weak. Fincheck doing so much damage to all three of these players. Can he do this right now? Can Fincheck get his way in? Ju's also there by his side. They still need to keep tabs of their whites. You can see them just chucking those splashes down to now enable them to get a little bit quicker, but no. A fight that we thought was going to end so much quicker there. They decided to dip on out. They decided to disengage, and I think it's a smart decision. You can see there's another team lurking nearby. But the problem with getting into zone is there's so many eyes on you now. Fincheck, Ju, they have all of that focus all on them. Whether they'll survive this is another question, because they're still looking so weak. And it's Lucia, Wheat, and Freezy that are able to look on through. Will they push, or will they decide to rotate, because that zone does pull far?
The problem is they clipped Fincheck, and when they saw that tear into the white HP, that's the primary reason why they were kind of refusing to let up for a moment. But Fincheck and Ju have managed to escape that focus. Still, they know there's a couple of players up above them, and it's the players that were last trying to tango with them. Darkiso and Artie, they don't necessarily have a whole lot of time left to work with. Those Storm Surge ticks just breaking away at whatever HP they have left remaining. And this is the big reason why Lucia was sticking around for so long. They needed that damage, Mini. 19 below still. They're going to opt to take a couple of shots, but now they've drawn the focus of the lobby from up ahead. They're going to try to get a move on forward, but it's not going to be easy. Fortunately, a little bit of the natural elevation working in their favor, and they'll have a chance now to look back at Spray. Ju, sadly, going to have to try and pivot the direction that he was initially going. Because him and Fincheck, they don't need the damage. They already were well above the surge threshold. They're just trying to stay out of eyesight here from Lucia, Wheat, and Freezy, but these guys are chasing them down.
They are. This is a perfect opportunity for them to take down Ju. They're getting ahead of them. Really nice tags there from Lucia to connect right there, but in the process, Wheat goes down, and this was as a result of their decision-making earlier. They decided to stay on that edge of zone for a little bit too long. They have to make a hefty rotation across the map. It's a long way to go. Ju somehow is still in the game. As I say that, he gets knocked, and it's now all up to Lucia and the Freezy in that trio to pick up the pieces as Wheat goes down. So thankfully for them, they do get a bit of a zone pull in their favor. It's just about how can they ensure they make their way into the zone, no matter how many materials they seemingly waste. It's not a waste if they're able to get in unharmed, but no, the Freezy goes down. There's only going to be a green light now for all these other teams circling the area to spray on through. Lucia does have an exotic Chug Jug, so he is going to be able to get back up to full HP, but without his teammates.
Knowing that they were sitting in that third place, they were leading consistency on the day, but that might be cut short here. Upwell, Panzer, and Thomas definitely keeping very close tabs. They know it's a solo boxed up currently, but they don't want to draw too much focus. A lot of foot traffic around them as well, and they're just trying to be very cautious with how they proceed. They don't want to find themselves getting pinched between set teams, and Trulex right behind where Thomas's team was just at. Moneymaker for 9 faded. They've just kind of been playing the slow and steady game, but that's not going to work out for them for much longer. They need to get some damage, and they need to get it soon before those Storm Surge takes start to become a real problem, because Faded, he doesn't have any heals. They're not going to be able to recuperate these shields unless they force the refreshes, and 4G plays Rabbit, they might be able to provide that, but Moneymaker knows better than anyone. He's been in this kind of scenario before. They just need to get closer into those boxes, but they don't want to threaten their current position.
This is a difficult situation for them. We saw them fighting off Spawn, but they couldn't quite find the full trio, so maybe that's coming back to haunt them now. Lucia's still in the game, not going to be able to get up to too much HP, but the fact he's still here is impressive in itself. Just about to break into those placement points soon enough as well. If he can make it there, let's see where this next zone pulls. That's a big problem for him, and another big problem is his Storm Surge. He has to get aggressive right now, otherwise that damage is going to come ticking on through. 41 below, it's not a huge amount, but now that the pressure's on, the damage is coming through. 25 damage per tick is not going to be something that Lucia is going to be appreciative of. 25 HP, one more tick, he needs 100 damage, it's all over, you have to imagine, as Lucia goes back to the lobby.
There just weren't any options left for Lusha at that point. It was either expose yourself going for tags and be beamed by another team from underneath you or across, or just wait for the Storm Surge to do its work. Faded, Moneymaker for 9. They didn't want to wait for much longer, though. The fact that they were able to get that aggressive has definitely extended their marks in this third match. Anas, Refsguard, Sinet them for the longest time in their surge base, and it seems like it worked out in their favor. 545 above currently, but most importantly of all, holding on to height. It's about suppressing that secondary position.
This is a huge game for them as well. Look at where the zone's pulled. It's right next to their drop spot. This is a huge opportunity for them. If they can pick up a win here, this could be the perfect time, because they're not going to get many better zones than this. The surge, as you mentioned, is in their favor. But some other Danish players and Thomas are still in the lobby as well, so they have to be very careful. And Nas is getting absolutely beamed from the players down below. I think it's Triffin as well, his good friend down there. So he's got to be very careful. But they're taking control of both sides of zone right here. You saw Refsguard and Sined looking for that further pull. I think it is going to pull in the other direction. So it'll be interesting to see if they do continue to claim that high ground, as Mr. Savage and his trio rotating down on that low ground again, keeping up that consistency. And yeah, Refsguard, Sined, and Anas are going to keep that high ground. But a massive game needed from them, and what a great opportunity for them.
They'll at least be able to control the flow of these teams in the low ground. Yam forced to expend a lot of material because of the fact that height is just continuing to spray down onto them. Thomas, Panzer, Uppel, though, from low, directly finding these eliminations, finding these refreshes at a crucial hour. They're going to be able to keep trying to tarp their way forward, but Sined, Refsguard, Anas, way up above the rest of this lobby. It's going to take a lot for somebody to try and threaten their current position, but Thomas, Panzer, Uppel, they're a little bit too fixated on what's happening right in front of them. Looking back for a moment, Thomas trying to see if he can get some pressure going, and sure enough, teams just caught amongst each other. They know one wrong step could be the end of it, just like Clement's team finding that elimination.
Yeah, huge for Clement's team here as well on that low ground. They're trying to take control of that, as is Thomas on the front side of this zone. Looking back at all those stragglers rotating in to the Storm, or at least trying to, as he gets a knock in the process. Huge for this team. They're not going to be able to get the refresh on that, but they're going to be able to keep plowing through this sort of low ground section a little bit above everyone else, so they know that the zone could pull up on top of this hill, which it does, and they need to try and keep a little bit of elevation to account for that problem, as now Sined, Refsguard, and Nas, they're still up on height, looking secure as well, but they might be running low on materials, as the deal is able to do such a good job at fragging out there on the low ground. So is Thomas, and they're just picking up elimination after elimination.
Thomas is putting an absolute clinic on currently from front side low, trying to ensure that his team is finally going to be able to live up to that level of success that everybody has scrutinized them for. Refsguard and Nas still up above, Pink as well, down in the dirt here. They're going to find Noah Riley, shutting down Trulex's trio entirely. Huge elimination to pick up, especially considering that it's just Nebs and Pink working as a pair dynamic, and they're going to be able to layer swap thanks to that refresh. A little bit more material to work with. Thomas HD, though, running incredibly low on builds.
Look at what it does. The zone's pulling all the way through this surge base. Huge moments here for Anas, Refsguard, and Sined all the way up on high. Clement also in that mid-ground layer getting active as well, as Thomas HD, Panzer, and Uppel are just completely dominating that low ground section as well. Drops inside, does Pink and Nebs. There they go back to the lobby, as now Uppel and Panzer need to clutch up as a duo. As another trio on that front side that are looking for it. It's not just any trio, it's Mr. Savage, Verdeel, and Reason. They're the ones that are now claiming low ground.
It would be quite the finish here if Reason, Mr. Savage, and Verdeel could be the ones to shut down Uppel and Panzer. But first, they got to deal with Clement, and sure enough, they bring him to his end. Now, taking back one more time, Vox going to be the next body that they're after. And Mr. Savage, only 5 builds remain. But if he can connect with these shots, it might not matter. Reason, though, he's actually fallen. Anas credited to it. And that's going to give him a little bit of wiggle room, working around the side of the build. But the moment he challenges, Mr. Savage just takes him down. Savage with another one onto Sined. It doesn't look like he has any intentions of stopping, waiting for the perfect opportunity here. Might even try to play the double revive, but he's not going to get that option. Panther shut down. Mr. Savage, that's a little taste of revenge if I've ever seen it here, Minnie. And now, Reason, double revive, just to really seal the deal. Alone Upple. Barely any HP remains from the backside of Zone, and a fully intact trio in Mr. Savage, Vidil, and Reason. It almost feels like a victory lap at this point. Upple gonna try to exchange some shots, but it's all been said and done here. They will be in our Major 2 finals. Mr. Savage, Reason, and Vidil have done it.
They have done it. Mr. Savage fans rise. This is their time.
Let's go.
They have managed to do it. And there was so many people, so many viewers watching with their teeth just clattering together, I'm sure, just wondering, is it going to be a repeat of what we saw earlier on where they had the low ground but didn't quite make the most of it? This time, there was absolutely no chance of them throwing this game. Really nicely done from this trio. And just the way that they were able to sort of reclaim that low ground at so many moments. This elimination here, little bit of revenge. Get back here, as now Upple, of course, just couldn't do anything about it. But huge moments for this trio, and I'm sure the fans will be happy. We will be seeing Mr. Savage in yet another major fight.
Savage's flow state at the end there when it came to picking up the eliminations was absolutely disgusting, and I know we're not the only ones that have something to say about it, Minnie.
Well, guys, my teeth weren't exactly clattering, but my jaw was wide open and practically awed during the end game there. That 3v1 versus Upple. Obviously, great to see Thomas's trio in it to win it. But how fantastic, Levin, to see that Mr. Savage has unretired in style.
This is what it's all about. The storyline, the script, I'm telling you, it only starts here. It's only going to keep getting better for this trio. I hope at least. What a win. They've been excellent today. Top. Of course, came very close already in one of these games. Finally sealed the deal against some very tough competitors as well. The ending of that game was absolute cinema. Well-deserved. Good to see Mr. Savage back in the finals. Hopefully, he can top last season's placement as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was literally like it went slow motion for me when Mr. Savage took down Panzer after Panzer snaking for Thomas and Upple, and then Savage just taking him out to secure the victory and pushing himself into the major finals. It does not get any more cinema than what we are witnessing right now, Levin.
No, literally, like, shout out to Taco for the call there, because she was spot on. The revenge, you could just taste it. I'm honestly gonna, as soon as we go to break, I'm going straight to Savage's stream. I need to see his reaction to that, because like I can only imagine just how elated they must have been feeling in that moment. I can only imagine how he must feel if he knows they took down Panzer in that moment, right? Like, that would be an even better feeling as well for the revenge part of it. But this team is so deserving. When you come together so last minute and are still able to look like such a cohesive, strong team against top opponents, like, it makes sense at the end of the day, because this is the most experienced team in the lobby. But I'm so impressed by them game after game.
Guys, wow. I never had any doubt. I knew that they would get the victory royale. I just knew it wouldn't be the first victory royale of Group 3. We will be back in a few minutes to chat all about game number 3. So, guys, stay tuned. Welcome back to FNCS. And if you've just tuned in, you have missed the fact that Mr. Savage has made it to yet another FNCS final. And combined with Reason and Vidil, that means they've made 64 FNCS finals in total. This must be the most successful trio in European history, Takata. It is wild how successful they are.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, thinking what's next, too. Now that they're qualified to the major finals, Vico Benoflixi were tweeting that they were posting on socials, we kind of want to go the same draft where Savage is going. And then also, what happens if they qualify to globals now? Wasn't Savage going to retire? There's so many things going on, but, I love to see it.
Oh, I can't wait for the Masked Meadows showdown, but that is next weekend. We've got to talk still about what happened in game number 3 of Group 3, because something else that was very pleasing to see was Thomas's trio coming in second. It feels like it was the first end game they kind of went into where all 3 of them were up and running, because they seem to have some issues in the previous 2 of losing a trio member a bit early, Levin. What did you make of them this game?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Thomas was popping off. Right? To be quite frank, that mythic drum gun in his hands, we should get everyone to sign a petition to say he can't have it. Give it to Panzer Up or give it to someone else. We shouldn't let this guy have this weapon. Every single time the cameras pan to him, he was just being a nuisance to somebody around him, right? And that's what you expect from Thomas HD at the end of the day. But the combination of the drum gun and Thomas HD, it is just nasty.
That's a Tommy gun.
It is it's Tommy's
Literally.
gun. It is Tommy's gun.
It's what you love to see. We talked about how frequently Thomas is getting the most damage on EU, literally having the most in those initial Div Cup finals, and now showing that he can also do it, in the same lobbies time and time again. After popping off, they weren't able to secure the victory royale, but with this most recent match, I mean, they have more than enough points to put them in an amazing spot for qualifying through consistency at no surprise for a trio of this caliber. And I'm just too excited to see if they continue to perform at this level in the upcoming matches.
Okay.
It's definitely a nice return to form for Thomas HD. And if you look above him, for position, we've got Clement, Splick, and Vox. It's a good night for the French trios. We've already sent one through, Akira's trio in game number 1. And these guys are now the most consistent trio in the lobby. 3 games they have got into that end game. Maybe not so high in the eliminations, but it's definitely been an impressive performance so far, Levin.
Yeah, I'm looking at 10th place though, because Anas, Refsguard, and not Splick, so you got me confused there, and Synod, they were on height for a lot of that end game. And if I'm being honest with you, for a lot of that game, I thought, what's going to go on here? Are they going to be able to get the job done? They look strong, but you can see the materials right now on Refsguard. They were just so low on mats throughout the end here that when it came down to it, they just had to drop down and just scrap it out. And unfortunately, they got out scrapped. And that does happen. I didn't even notice that. And that's just getting blown towards the front of the zone. Unfortunate ending for this team. But it's really interesting to see these guys in this lobby. I will say something, though, Takata. We have, for the people who don't know who watch the show, we have a lot of Danish people behind the scenes who are involved in the making of FNCS. And towards the end there, our producer was in our ear because we had Anas and another Danish team sort of in there. We had Thomas popping off. We had all these Danish players going crazy. They were in my ear going, Danish lobby, Danish lobby. Danish team didn't even win. So hold that then, Mark.
Look, you can be the Danish hater here, Levin, but to give them the benefit of the doubt, this was the first match they got into the top 10, and they did a great job. They unfortunately ran out of materials, didn't go quite their way. We're not going to talk about what happened to Levin. We all love Denmark here. Everybody's a big fan. Thomas HD is going to win his first major finals.
You can't get rid of me.
No, we can't. Disappear him again, please, production. Disappear him. Thank you very much. Gosh, so much more relaxed now he's gone. Oh, he's back. Okay. Anyway, Takata, you were saying.
No, we love to see it. We love to see it.
We've got to head to Alcata's because apparently Levin is back in the lobby and we need to have a quick conversation about being nice to the people that pay our wages. So let's pop off and get game number 4 underway.
Yeah, I quite like being on the screen, so we're gonna talk nicely about Denmark here, Taco. It was pretty much full Denmark lobby there at the end. It was very, very exciting. I genuinely did think that Restgard and Nas and Sinem were going to do it there at the end, and it just shows that height isn't always the key to success.
We got to take it a little bit personally there, though, for refs, Thomas, Tripper. I mean, somebody's got to find that little bit of dignity now for Denmark. Surely make Levin eat his own words. I know that they would love to see it, and so would our production team. But first, we got to see what happens in match 4.
Yeah, match number 4 is upon us. Huge, huge moments for our teams that are higher up. Just need to keep doing what they need to do, and for teams that are lower down, as we talked about throughout the last couple of groups, now it's all about how do we get out of this situation. 2 more games to potentially make it into the Major 2 finals. You want to get it done now. That last chance qualifier is so difficult to not only qual for, but then also actually pick up a victory. So still a few of our big names that still haven't made it. So lots and lots of storylines to keep tabs on. One of which is, of course, this Osform battle in this sort of strange area of the map between a couple of different POIs. We haven't quite seen it all go crazy at the very beginning here, Taco. It seems very, very peaceful. I think that'll benefit Kind and company there.
At least no immediate 50-50, but the Bear Army, they're hoping to get the advantage here at Lone Wolf Lair. Marco, sadly, is going... Oh, actually, no, that's in his benefit. Excuse me. Yeah. For a moment, it looked like it had turned against him. Isma, Fakey, trying to close in now onto Gordithi, Scary, Sean. They don't have your land. That was actually going to be the first member lost here for the Spanish trio. And really like this, though, from Marco, Fakey, and Isma. They know that they've already got the 1 elim advantage. They're not trying to overextend by any means. They've already had to deal with a fair amount of third-party action here today. And so if they can't find the immediate conclusion, make sure that you're as healthy as possible before you get into that battle yet again. And it certainly hasn't closed itself off. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Spanish team back around. Shiny Chefs, though, other plans in mind here for Clement, leading the charge with the limb count.
Yeah, really good from this trio. They've been really impressive today. Just overall, that consistency. They haven't necessarily been in any moments where they've been like, wow, you know, this is an incredible performance. It's been a good performance in every single game. And sometimes that's all you need in these sort of lobbies. Of course, top 5 consistency does qualify through. Victory Royale will do the job as well. If you have just joined us and a little bit confused, there's still potential for them to make it into the finals. Just another decent game. Team that did have a more than decent game last time was Restgard, Sined, and Anas, who just really looked so strong up on high. It wasn't quite to be there in the end. If it wasn't for that sort of low ground dominance from Mr. Savage's trio. Now that they're out of the lobby, I'm interested to see how that whole landscape of that south side of the map near Mars Meadows is going to go down, especially since now we've got Hansa, Uppel, and Thomas still in the lobby, who've been terrorizing the lobby, if you like, with all of their Storm Surge tags in this sort of area. So excited to see what this team can bring to the table now as well.
And I'm really excited, too, for Thomas, Uppel, and Panzer, because now that we have seen Savage, Vadil, and Reason successfully qual to the Major 2 finals, we got to put some respect onto Panzer's name. He has done a phenomenal job as an up-and-comer in the European competitive scene. And I don't think that this is the end of the road by any stretch of the imagination. Sure, it's definitely tough, but maybe we can get some more people cheering for Panzer now that Savage is successfully through. Lispy, though, just hoping that he doesn't meet his ultimate fate here. Just a little bit southeast of Shogun's Solitude, and Valerie Kenti applying a lot of pressure, but it's largely just forcing these teams to burn through their material count.
Yeah, that laser is just so unrelenting. Yeah, no ammo necessarily with that sort of item. It's just a different sort of health to it, if you like, as Kenti has to just try and put the brakes on there. A little bit of reverse to go on back through there as Velvy just continues that pressure with that weapon up above. It's just such a difficult weapon to contend against because not only is it just unrelenting, it's also just quite annoying to deal with from up above. Just never-ending spray. This is really good from just wasting, burning through that team's materials. Wow, what a shot from return right there. As Litzby tries to get a shot, but it's not enough to connect. This is an important fight where both teams do need a good game here. They need something that's going to propel them up the leaderboard. It haven't been the best day necessarily for both of these teams, but this fight could be the catalyst for them having a better start, or better end to the day, I should say.
Being in 24th, though, on the leaderboard, heading into this fourth match, these teams don't necessarily have a whole lot of... They have to find these fights. They have to be successful with them. Traumic trying to get involved. Lispy, so just too many numbers in his favor. That's one elimination. What these teams need is a strong game. They're playing for the Victory Royale at this point, but they might not be able to find it when they're struggling so early on, just dealing with one other trio, and that's not even to count in what's happening now. The way that Sai and Naka are rolling in the vicinity, this is just gone from bad to worse for both of those original trios.
We're seeing camping in bushes. Kenty camping in a tree, avoiding the sight lines of any other player. Look at this. This is the new strat. This is how to do it. I might adopt this in solo cash cuts. That could be it. Sai is still unaware of the presence right there, but still just trying to look for as many shots as possible through this build. And this is just unreal. He cannot see Kenty whatsoever. Just keeping on applying that pressure, and maybe there's a chance that he spots him in just a moment. Maybe there's a chance that Kenty can find opportunity to hit a shot. Oh my goodness. He hasn't seen him. He still has not seen me. Oh, now he has. Sai has to deal with him right now as Kenty got straight into the box. Huge shot from him, but he's still only a duo, and this has just unleashed the rest of that trio to come on through. A very sneaky start to that fight, but unfortunately not one that goes in the favor of Kenty.
Sadly, the whiff of a lifetime there for Kenty on the open.